a bit of technology that I think would be relevant to Gen Next, would be relevant to a lot of areas that you are tapping into in India, on how you are using Adobe Sensei and artificial intelligence to change how selfie videos are made. Quickly tell us about that, and how is Adobe Sensei now fitting into the AI platform? Where does India fit in?
Well, I think Adobe Sensei is the magic. When people say, how did somebody create that video? How did somebody, whether it's in Bollywood films or whether it's in character animation or whether it's real-time interactivity. And to your point right now, there are millions of people who want to do that with a mobile device. And what Sensei allows you to do, whether you're dealing with images or dealing with video, is very quickly put together a really compelling story to tell. Sensei is the underlying infrastructure behind it, much like Intel was on the PC platform. So people may not know it's quite Sensei that's powering that magic, but behind the scenes, it's the magic that the engineers are doing that's causing it.
Okay. I would have loved to talk more about this, but since we are tight, I want to finish by asking you about President Trump's administration. There's a lot of worry, Shantanu, as you would have seen across India, be it from the government side. There have been comments also coming in from the ministry, be it from Indian IT companies' perspective on the executive orders on tightening the immigration laws. You have spoken about it in depth in your blog, and there has been a lot of concern raised by Silicon Valley CEOs. Do you believe that that will be a concern for India-US relations? Do you believe that Indian companies need to worry about how businesses will be now that the new administration has come in?
Well, I think at the end of the day, when you look at the India-US relationships, which was one of your questions, I think that has been on a path to increased cooperation and increased participation. And I think that momentum, just given the economy that India represents, given the economy that US represents, I think that's just going to continue to make progress. I mean, sometimes you have bumps in the road and you need to worry about it. I think in terms of being a government, at least in the US, the Trump administration, that is talking about being pro-business, and you've seen all of the proposals recently about making the U.S. a more competitive place to do business with tax rates. I think U.S. businesses look at that favorably in terms of, being supportive of it. And from our point of view, in terms of people, we're a global company and we're going to go wherever the skills are. And so I think, all great enterprises figure out a way to, take advantage of whatever economic and socio-political criteria is. And so I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist for what's happening in India. I'm certainly, an optimist about what's happening in the U.S. with respect to our business. And I think that, relationships between the two countries will just continue to progress forward.
Okay. But do you expect the landscape to become tighter now? Do you expect it to be more stringent now?
I think the landscape will be different.
Okay.
But and I think that's something that as the laws emerge, that people will have to pay attention to. But
are you concerned about it? Are you concerned?
No, I continue. Well, I look at it with respect to what I can control. And I can control Adobe's prospects. We have the biggest opportunity we've ever had as a company. To your point, we're executing well. We continue to look at the cloud as the opportunity. And, I think that's what, at the end of the day, our dedicated employees are focused on.
You don't think that will reduce competitiveness? It's something that some of your colleagues in Silicon Valley have indicated, that it may impact the competitiveness landscape, so to speak.
For us, competition comes from everybody with a great idea and access to a computer. So, I continue to be paranoid about where the competition's coming from.
Okay, fair enough. So we're going to end with a very quick rapid fire.
Okay.
So you know the rules. I ask you a
don't.
question, and you have to say the first thing in your mind. You know what's Coffee with Karan? There's a rapid fire over there.
No.
Okay. So, Chantu, you've been a part of Adobe for almost 20 years. You left India in right after your graduation. So we're going to ask you some specific questions. Firstly, do you miss moving from India? Do you miss the country?
I miss the people.
Okay. Your favorite Indian food that you miss?
Chaat.
Do you get chaat in US?
I do, and I'll go anywhere for good chaat.
Okay. Your favorite Indian food, your favorite food overall, Indian or otherwise?
Indian. without a doubt.
Okay.
Wherever I go in the world, I like to eat Indian food.
Okay, favorite actor, favorite actress?
Indian?
Either way.
You know, I would have to say Amitabh Bachchan is probably my favorite actor.
An actress?
Meryl Streep.
Okay. Priyanka Chopra has made inroads in, is she in US quite a bit? Is she on your list?
I haven't watched many of her movies, unfortunately. So.
Okay. Tech visionaries: Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Eric Schmidt, Larry Ellison. Which would you pick? Or if there's another name on your list?
Well, I would pick John Warnock, the founder of Adobe. I mean, how many people in the world have created three fundamental innovations? He created PostScript, John and Chuck. Okay. He created PDF and he created Illustrator.
Okay. Your mentor, one person that has changed your career path?
My father, and professionally Gurcharan Singh Sidhu, who was my boss at Apple.
Okay. When you were starting your career, did you anticipate that you're going to be where you are today?
No.
No? What was the one thing that made you leapfrog as far as career is concerned? One big change or one big success story that stands out?
I think you take initiative, and you don't take no for an answer. And I've always said people are successful when they have a passion for what they do, and I have a tremendous passion for building products.
Okay, when you're not working, then what's your weekend hobby that you look forward to?
Time with family, and more specifically golf.
Golf?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do you play golf when you're here?
I do.
Okay. And lastly, biggest success in terms of the one thing that stands out for you that you think you did right, and biggest regret, if any?
Well, the biggest success clearly has to be the last few years at Adobe. What we have done with the cloud and what we've done with creating a new business. I think we've pioneered things that, either one of them by itself would have been a career's worth of accomplishment, but the company has done both and done both amazingly well.
Okay.
I have no time for regrets or looking back.
No. Okay. Before I end, very quickly, if you weren't in the tech world, if you hadn't moved to US, found Silicon Valley, what would you be?
I grew up wanting to be a journalist or a TV sports commentator, and Harsha Bogle.
Why didn't you do that?
I actually did that. I used to do commentary for Doordarshan many years ago, TV, and Harsha and I were both in the same high school, and we used to both do debates. So.
I have never heard this. This is very interesting. You should be on the other end of the interview one of these days. Thank you so much, Shantanu. Always a pleasure to meet you. Thanks a lot, and thanks for speaking to CNBC TV 18 on your visit here, and good luck for the next few years going ahead.
Thank you. It's always been a pleasure to meet with you.
Thank you. So that was Shantanu Narayen, not just talking about Adobe India, what lies ahead, also talking about how there are no regrets, and yes, he could have perhaps been a journalist if the Silicon Valley had not found him. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.